Hi guys, how are you doing today? I hope everybody is doing well, and here we're just gonna continue on our fashion illustration lesson. Today I will be talking about drawing face and different hairstyle. I prepared this template for you and it's posted on our class website, so you're welcome to download it and use it underneath your paper for proportion. But the same as before, I'm going to show you. Oh, we have a visitor. Hey, oh, okay. I'm going to put her down. Okay, say hi. Look up, look up, look up. Nope. All right. Sorry, guys. There you go. Okay, let's just start this over. Where were we? Right, so I'm going to show you how to come up with the measurements even though if you don't have the template or ruler. Similar to drawing the body, we are going to start with the center line and we're going to divide it into 6 equal parts. And we're going to draw horizontal lines, name them, and then we start drawing the face. I printed a copy, so I'll show you how you can use this as your template. Basically, say you're drawing a face and you kind of decide how tall you want the face be, and then you're going to put a mark at the top and one at the bottom, calling the first one 0 and the last one 6. And by eyeballing it, you could find the center of it, and that would be your number 3. Right? I mean, you should continue it on either side of that vertical line. And then this would be your number 3. Then you're going to divide the top part into 3 equal parts, 1 and 2. So we've got 3 up there, and then 1 and 2. So we should have 6 equal parts. Let's draw those lines. So that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before we start actually drawing different parts, we need to divide between 4 and 5 into 3 equal parts. So again, between 4 and 5, you're going to eyeball and come up with those measurements, and you'll be using this for drawing your lips and nose. 4 and 1/3 is 1, and this one is 4 and 2/3. Now, instead of writing them, I'm going to refer to the template I made for you in the favor of time. So 0 is top of your head. Number 1 is where your hair starts to grow. 2 is top of the eyebrows. So the highest point of your eyebrow is gonna be there. 3 is your eye line. Usually, I should make a comment here. Anytime I teach this in the class and I ask people what they think number 2 is, almost 95% of the time people say that's supposed to be the eye line, but in fact eye line is at number 3. Main reason is that between 1 and 0 is where you have hair happening. Like top of your head is here, you don't really see it, you see hair. So this is really your face between 1 and 6. When I start sketching, it makes more sense. And 4 and 1/3 is the nose line, so that's where you have you indicate the nose. 4 and 2/3 is top of the lips. Now lips could be narrow, could be really wide. So starting from 4 and 2/3 to it could be up to 5, it could be lower. That part really depends because people have different types of lips. And 6 is chin line. Now quickly, I'm going to sketch it here, and then I'm going to use a template to show you how to use it underneath your hand. All right, so first of all, the first thing you're going to do, you know how we practice warm up? you're going to have an oval, but it's not complete oval. I guess I was explaining this as we were practicing. It is an oval which has a wider top and a narrower bottom, and that would be your face. Don't worry too much to get this precise, because we could always revisit and correct it. As long as you have some suggestion to shape your face, that's all we're asking for right now. Number two, number three is the eye line, and this is where I always start. People have different size of eyes. Some have bigger eyes, some people have smaller. So that again is a variation that, you could do all kinds of eyes and eyebrows and nose and mouth. But in this case, I'm just gonna stick with some basic form. And usually you could measure that and come to this side and start the other side. What I was gonna say is that usually people consider about one eye in between. So if that is one eye, it is about one eye in between, and then you have your other eye. To start off, it's okay if you want to use a ruler to find your points, but eventually as you practice more, you should become very comfortable just, doing this freehand and not using a ruler. Very good. So we have the upper eyelid, and then I'm going to, and it's actually important, whatever you do on one side, apply to the other side right away. If you finish up the entire side on the right and then go try to do the left, usually they don't become identical. So it is a good idea to do them at the same time and develop them. Now your eyes, they can look straight or they could look to the right or left, top or bottom. I quickly draw a little icon here. Say if the person is looking that way, both of them is gonna be on that side. If she's looking forward, they'll be right there. If she's looking this way, you could guess, right? There you go. So it is important to have the location of this in the same direction. Otherwise, you might have a person looking like this, which is not quite appropriate, or a person could have crossed eyes. I mean, if you're making funny jokes, that's fine, but we're trying to stick with the basic rules. All right, and then you're going to have another half a circle here. In fact, if you look at the eyes, there is like full circle, but you don't see the rest. Let me actually apply it here. So if I have the full circle, that's what we have in there, but we don't really see because the eyelid is covering it. And here's, you could have the eyelid, right? So on this side, I don't complete the circle. Instead, I'll just go ahead and imagine my circle is gonna end up here, and you could draw your eyelid. Again, some people have wider eyelids, some people have narrower one. That part, you could look at different pictures. I included lots of good examples on our website. Please take a look and familiarize yourself with different forms of eyes and lips and nose. I included all of them there. For now, I'm just doing some basic. I want to show you how to get it started. I guess that's all I'm really trying to do, because in a very short video, I want to get some information to you. All right, so that's for the eyes, and I'm going to create some eyelashes. Again, this is fashion illustration. This is nothing realistic. You could do it realistic if you wish, but in fashion illustration, you usually go a little more towards fantasy side rather than realistic. So my eyelashes are fairly long, as you can see. For the lower eyelashes, just put some dots. Don't draw full line because they kind of look scary if you do full line. So avoid that. This center part in everybody's eye is going to be absolutely black, right? And this second part is going to be colored. Could be blue, green, brown, black. So that part is the area that you could leave it as white right now or make it like light gray because you're not coloring. But this center part, you want to make it very black, leaving a little bit of space white. If you fill out the entire circle in black, you kind of take away the eyesight and the person doesn't look very alive. So don't do that. Always leave a little bit of white of the paper. And again, the reflection of that light depends on the direction the person is looking. So if I'm keeping this side light, I'm keeping that side light, right? Make sure that you're watching for that. The corner of the eyes, you could suggest a little line. And now let's do the eyebrows. Number 2, as you can see in the template, is the highest point of eyebrow or top of the eyebrows. Meaning, if I'm doing my eyebrows like that, this is the highest. You don't start here and go higher. You start lower and this is the highest part. So again, you apply the line on both sides and then you could start developing the texture for hair. I like to use mechanical pencil 0.9 for this because it gives me flexibility to create hair-like lines. So you just put little short lines and you probably can't see on the camera, but I'm applying more pressure when I'm starting and I let go of the pressure to, similar to our warm-up practices. Oh, let's see, they're not identical. So it's important not to talk when you're sketching. But I'm teaching, so that's all right. I could go back and fix it. There you go. So far we have the eyes and eyebrows. Let's take a look at nose. There are different practices I included on the website for nose drawing, and I could go through all those lessons. Probably I have individual lessons for eyes, nose, lips, and all that in a second. But for fashion illustration, you're not going to have enough time to shade it in full. And noses are very tricky. If you don't shade them properly, if you don't take your time, they don't look good. So after all these years of experience, this is what I have to offer you. The easiest way to get your nose looking okay, just at the right spot, which is 4 1/3, suggest 2 little lines on a slant form. And then you could start from eyebrows, like kind of come in a little, don't start right there, a little in, suggest 2 straight lines, right? That should be sufficient. Now, if you want to do a little more, you could also recommend a little line on this side. I usually don't. I only stick with these 2 little lines and my straight lines. Now, it's really important that you locate everything in the right spot. The proportion is super important. You have to have your eyes on number 3, nose there, lips, eyebrows, everything. Reason being is that even though if you're not experienced drawer, as long as the proportion is correct, the face looks good. But if you have a face that placement of your parts are not in the right spot, say instead of having my eyes here, I start having my eyes up here and nose here and lips here, it may not look very good, right? So it's important to keep them in the right spot, and no matter how good of a drawer you are, you're gonna end up with a nice face. Moving on to the lips. Lip number 4 2/3 is top of the lips, so I guess I'm going to enlarge it here to show you how to draw the lips. Lips are basically in a box. You have a center line this way and another center line that way. If the lip is narrower, the whole box becomes narrower, right? If the lower lip is chubbier, then you have a bigger section at the lower part and a smaller at the top. And how you form it, you start, you know, coming in, going up and in. This is the center line. Now this lower part could be very pointy, could be rounded, could be a little flat and then rounded. This is the area that again is different in everybody. If I want to do this other one based on that principle, you can see that this lip is very narrow. Or this one could be very chubby at the lower part and not so much at the top. Again, I included lots of good examples in our class website. Please refer to them. Now, knowing that, I'm going to have a normal size, nothing exaggerated. So this is the top of the lip. So I'm going to consider the lower part at number 5. And here is where I would shape my lips. There. That's the general form. Now I can go in and curve them to whatever amount that I want. I usually tend to keep everything very straight. As you can see in the eyes, even the lower part of the eyes, I kept them straight. You can see in people that when they're doing the eyes, they make it totally like a fish and make it really curvy. And that's all right. There are different types of eyes, right? For me, I'm always leaning toward straight rather than very curvy. Same thing is happening for my lips. Now the lips could be completely bigger than that, or it could be that size. All right, now number 1 is where the hair starts to grow. If you want to use a part, say she has a part in the center, this is where his hair starts to grow, going this way, and this is top of the head. I could have the part shown like with a line. So you always have more dense and darker line at the part, and as the hair goes outside, towards the outside, it becomes lightened, right? So in this case, I'm going to bring some of her hair to her face, there, and these lines are becoming a little lighter. Now, before I cover up the ears, I need to talk about the ears. Between 2.5 and 3.5, which I didn't mark it on the template, but 2.5 and 3.5 here is where your ear is located. The upper part is a little smaller, a little bigger, and when you come down it becomes a little smaller. And you carry out that line to this side and you create that form. Now, as you can see, my face is very, uneven, and that's okay. I could try to shape it more precisely now. Now, another thing, if you watch other YouTube videos, people tend to come in at the eyes and then go out, right? And that's true, but that's too much. Usually end up with a huge cheek and the model doesn't look very attractive. So what I like to do is not to go in that much. I just go in a little bit. But again, there are different forms and different shapes. I always like to stick with the straight. Even in my pattern drafting and making all kinds of clothing, I don't like to curve up things too much because they just become very exaggerated in the final product. So the straighter, the closer to the reality. That's what I figured. All right, so this is the head is completed. Now we are going to do the neck and the body already. So if you like, as a fun practice, you could go ahead and draw faces for all of the models you have developed already. Now the shoulder width and the rest, we already talked about them. See, this is not even. I should have started with a straight line going in, and now it's better. There you go. Now for the hairstyle, I will record everything in the next video because that's a big topic itself. But for now, let's give her some braids, just bringing the curvy lines down. There you go. And that's it for this lesson. Just quickly showing you usage of this template. If you were able to print this at home, if you were in the class, you all were going to get one for the sake of time, so you could use that underneath your hand. I'm lining this up because I have the description here. If I put it right on top, my face is going to be leaning towards the right, but I want it to be centered to my paper. So I'm going to center it. Hey puppy, what are you doing? Okay, my puppy's sitting on the table and is shaking the table. Sorry guys. All right, so I think that's good enough. So you can see through that, you don't need to draw the lines. You could just go quickly and easily and cleanly kind of apply the eyes, you know, the eyelid, the eyebrows, nose, lips, and the face. You see, it's as simple as that. Doesn't need to be very complicated. You could even keep the eyes closed if you want to. If you want to keep the eyes closed, I tend to do that a lot. As simple as that. You could really quickly draw a face. If you were in the class, I was gonna time you. So we usually have different types of exercises. One of them is just be fast, nothing in detail. So I would just time you for maybe 2 minutes, and then you had to draw the entire face in 2 minutes. You see, this was I think even like 30 seconds or so. As long as you put the placement correctly, if the proportion is right, you should be fine. If you want her to look maybe that way, you're going to move the eyeballs going that way, and then you could recommend the lower line, right? So as simple as that. I'll see you in the next video for the hairstyle, guys. See ya. Bye.